What's up, good people, Vlad here. Today we are checking out this gorgeous hybrid dual chamber compact H6 FLOW RGB case from NZXT. They took some bold moves with the case design and apparently it works. The case not only looks great but performs great too, and as a little bonus it does not cost much either, so let's check it out. Looking for affordable Windows or Office keys? Look no further, I got you covered. Head over to scdkey.com, pick your Windows edition, use my discount code LE25 to get a 25% on any Windows or Office products. Once you complete your order, after a few seconds you will receive your code. In Windows, go to Settings, there should be an Activate Windows prompt at the bottom. Click that, enter your code and wait for Windows to finish activation. To check the activation status, use the command prompt with the command slmgr.vbs/xpr and you should receive a notification that the machine is permanently activated. Once again, use code LE25 at scdkey.com. It's a nice compact-ish case with the dimensions of 435mm high, 287mm wide and 415mm deep with the weight of 9.4 kilos. But what will immediately be of the most interest is the angle in the front. I can see some height Y60 influence on the design here, but instead of doing angled front glass here, the NZXT decided to do angled front intake. Bold move, as I said, but turns out this approach is actually better for the cooling. Anyhow, we have a traditional square look from the front and the side. Actually, it's a fish tank look since there is no column here where the two glass panels meet, so it creates a seamless look, and the angle is on the other side with the NZXT branding in the bottom. The front I/O panel is quite decent for a compact case. I expected less USB ports, but we have a pretty common I/O panel here with the headphone and mic combo jack, USB-C 3.2 Gen 2, two USB 3.2 Gen 1A ports and the illuminated power button. Removing the angled mesh panel is easy, it is held by pegs and it does not have any additional filters inside since holes are wide or dense enough to allow for a good airflow and be a dust filter at the same time. It comes with three included 120mm fans. These are the F120Q case fans. Since this is a RGB model of the case, they naturally have RGB. They are 1200 RPM with 62.18 CFM airflow and 1.05mm H2O of static pressure with a noise of only 25.1 decibels, but they are not PWM, they are just regular 3-pin DC fans. Here in the front you can mount up to 3 120mm fans and that is it, nothing else, no other size, no radiator support since there is no place for it due to the height limit. Getting to the inside of the case is done via a thumb screw at the back, which holds the tempered glass panel, which also sits in a bottom lip so it won't accidentally fall or break. It's a 4mm tempered glass, which is also held by pegs at the top for additional security. While we are here, the top panel removal is also easy, just push the tab at the back, up top, and it will pop off. Once again, the panel is also a dust filter, the way it should be, no flimsy mesh magnetic dust filters. You can also remove the front glass panel. It's done with 2 screws here and 3 more up top. You just unscrew those and pop the glass off, but you do not need to remove it when you're building your PC. As you can see, the interior is actually quite compact since the case itself is quite compact. But in terms of motherboard support and simplicity of building your system, everything is organized to be straightforward. Up to ATX sized motherboards can be installed here, a large cutout at the back is present for easy CPU cooler installation, there is a large opening at the top for all the cables, also at the bottom and on the side as well. There is also an indented space on the floor where you can mount up to two 140mm fans, but strangely there is no place for 120mm fans, I mean there are no mounting holes. I like that fans sit flush with the floor panel once they are installed for that maximum clean look, but this also presents a problem which I will tell you later about. The remnants of the old cases and homage to old case models is present here in the form of a different colored strip with the NZXT branding spanning outside of the case on the side, much like the famous cable column on older NZXT cases. These angled front fans also have this angled plastic inside on the side of the motherboard tray, which further distributes or directs air directly to the GPU. It's a nice approach. The clearances in this case are pretty epic considering its size. 365mm for the GPU, so yeah, even bigger RTX 4090 models can fit here, and for the CPU air coolers we are looking at 163mm of space. At the top you can install up to 3 120mm fans or 2 140mm fans and up to 360mm radiators. But beware here, as you can't install thicker fans on the radiator because in some situations and motherboard combinations it might hit the motherboard. The regular AIOs with 25mm thick fans will fit here without any issues, even with room to spare above the motherboard. The top fan bracket is not removable for easier installation outside of the case. It's a bummer really. The bottom fan installation is done if we flip the case. There are rubber decouplers to compensate for the fan vibrations, and again the bottom is also acting as a dust filter. They call this the high performance mesh. So you can also see that the case has nice large feet which keeps it elevated enough for the bottom fans to breathe properly. At the rear side you are looking at 120mm fan position with no pre-installed fan here, and there are small rails here for that slight up or down adjustment. The PCI covers do not have a column in the middle, so the use of any third-party PCI riser for vertical GPU mount is easy. Also, the complete rear side is full of these large holes for the air to escape quicker. Alright, moving to the back side of the case, once again high performance mesh panels, so no additional dust filters here either. We have a thumb screw at the back and off it goes. This reveals some interesting things, but also this absolute mess of front fan cables. Luckily, there are Velcro straps here to help iron this situation. Here is the large opening at the back, also at the top of the motherboard tray. We have zip tie points everywhere, but this is interesting. The hard drive cage is super cool. It accepts two 2.5-inch drives on the side. You just literally slot your SSD like this, and you can also mount two of them and also one 3.5-inch drive here as well. And here is the accessory box with all the screws and things needed to build your PC. The PSU is installed in the middle of the case on this bracket on which it sits with a max supported size of 190mm. Here are all the front I/O cables as well. Building a system in this case is easy as it gets, except two things. First being that bottom floor 140mm fan hole. Look here, if you want to install for example Li & Li Unifans, yeah, tough luck. I managed to install them, but only because I cut the connector plastic on the on the side of the fan and taped it with Kapton tape in place, and that way it fits exactly flush. But this is mainly because NZXT has a wide range of products, which of course includes the fans, and they want you to use their fans, which fits here perfectly. Actually, any fan with standard cables will fit here, but yeah, I wanted to use Li & Li fans here just to see if there would be any problems, and yeah, there were problems. Second issue is the cable management, simply because there are too many wires here and too little space to manage them all properly. But anyway, this is not going on a show. You do this once, put a cover there and worry never about it. So there you are with a shiny new PC, and you must be wondering, how's the cooling? Is it any good? Actually, it is excellent for such a small case. I have Intel i9 12900K sitting at 27 to 28 at idle and up to 70 at full load, cooled with Kraken 360 RGB with this gorgeous display on the pump block. More on that in another review. But the GPU was also cooled good up to 69 degrees max with bottom fans and 1 degree less without them. So I keep on wondering, were the two bottom fans even necessary? Since they will aid the GPU, maybe, but they will heat up the CPU more since the heat rises here, and with these fans installed here I saw a bump of +2 degrees for the CPU. It's nothing to worry about, but there you know that a stock config is actually pretty good. Side fans do supply plenty of fresh air for both CPU and GPU equally. And here is where I need to tell you about some pros and about some cons that I noticed with this case. Let's start with the cons first to clear that out of the way, but you already guessed it. The 140mm bottom fans, the placement of other fans and no 120mm fan support. I mean, it would not hurt if we had the choice and the chance, the decision in this, but I guess NZXT wanted that seamless look not to be broken. Could have been avoided with, I don't know, some plastic cover here which could fill the gap if you install 120mm fans here, and I don't know, a complete cover if you do not use any fans here on the floor. So moving on, there are no rubber grommets anywhere on all cable cutouts, but they are not needed on the top and they are not needed in the bottom, but they are needed here in the front, because if you look the case straight front, you can see these holes and the mess of the cables behind them. I already mentioned thicker fans and radiators here up top, which could interfere with some motherboards, and I mean some combinations of motherboard, because not every motherboard has large I/O shield here on the back. So moving further, RGB cable fans on the side intake, they take too much space. I mean, they could have made smaller cables here and just daisy chain all of them together. And while we are on the fans, top fan bracket is not removable, which would have been a better choice, because you can just remove this, mount an AIO outside of the case and just drop it all in for easier installation. But on the other hand, this case has more pros, of course. First, NZXT did improve quality, and by a lot. Nothing flimsy here, nothing rattling, it's much better than before. Actually, I think that first build on the channel was in the NZXT H5 case, and they just improved a lot since then. All the panels are toolless, which is great for maintenance later as well, and just it's a nice quality of life feature. I love that it has minimal branding to it, and that homage to all models with the collar strip here on the side. It's a kind of nice touch. The fish tank look is modern now, I guess. Not just that, it makes your beautiful system even nicer to look at. But side fan intake is just epic. I like the angled approach, which makes the case look slimmer than it actually is, and it hides the fact that this is a dual chamber design case. It's a mix of H9 and H5 case in a good way actually, but keeps strong in the performance department. NZXT always had that elegant look with lines that blend together, creating unique case design. But what is the best thing here, apart from the looks and apart from the performance, is the price of this case, which is only $110 for the non-RGB model, which I suggest more than this RGB model. But if you choose to go the RGB way, you have to pay $135 US. I mean, the choice is yours, of course. You will be getting a great case if you like compact cases which do not skim on the performance. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the Kraken 360 RGB review in the following days. In the meantime, check my other videos, subscribe to the channel, like and share my videos, and I'll see you in the next one.